The first advice would be, don't worry if you're not the very best at school in regard of test results and marks. Of course, make enough effort. Much more important is the individual path that everyone has to identify and to go through for the professional development. The second one would be turn off your PC and smartphone and go outside, explore the life in another way, meet friends, do sports. Third one would be directly connected to traveling, go abroad as early as possible, meet new people, different cultures with different backgrounds, new ideas, view of the world, and of course practice your foreign language skills, communication and diplomacy. My name is Radoslav Mladenov. I'm Master of Science in Biotechnology. I'm currently working as a research associate, which in my case means a PhD student at Fraunhofer IME Institute. IME stands for Molecular Biology and Applied Ecology, and I'm actually employed at the Department for Pharmaceutical Product Development. I have to say that in our job we very often uncover or discover novel findings, which would mean a new biological mechanism or pathway. And definitely the coolest part of this job is to be the very first one to publish this and to share it with the science community. Well, as I mentioned, in our job we very often discover or uncover new biological mechanisms, and very often these should be first filled into a patent form before revealing it to any of outside world. And one should be really careful how to deal with this, with his ideas and findings. The second limitation would be time management. If you conduct experiments with biological units, for example mice, they don't stop for the Friday and then go on the weekend. Of course, it continues all the weekend, and one should really invest his time in order to achieve the needed results. In Fraunhofer IME and in my department, we investigate mechanisms, pathways and biomarkers in order to develop novel or innovative solutions and product candidates for diagnosis and treatment of a variety of human diseases. In my PhD, I work on two projects with similar structure but different focus. The one is on cancer and the other one is on chronic inflammatory diseases. My working day is split into equal time parts between lab and office. The normal day starts with office work and a good cup of good black coffee, where I read some new publications, plan my experiments, write protocols. Later on I go in the lab and I conduct my experiments. I can work either in vitro with cancer cells on their bench, for example, or the much more interesting part is going into in vivo preclinical animal models, for example in mice. And of course, later on, all the collected data have to be evaluated. So I go back to the office where I evaluate all my results and write it down in my lab book. Me and my colleagues, we meet on a regular basis and present our results and discuss it, share opinion. This is very important. And in case we have some new findings, we either first fill a patent form if it has a direct application, or we just publish in scientific journals. Of course, the last part is maybe the most important. It's writing project applications, as academic or industry funding is always needed. I was born and raised in Bulgaria, and after graduating high school with good knowledge in English and German, I decided to go abroad for my studying. So I landed at RWTH Aachen University and started biotechnology studies. I done here my bachelor's and master's, and in 2012 I started my master thesis at Fraunhofer IME in Aachen. And since the results were quite promising, the project was really interesting, and of course people are great to work with and very supportive. I decided to directly continue with my PhD, and now 3 years later I can say that this decision was definitely the right one for me, especially when I look at my publication record and other achievements. Well, life science is quite an interdisciplinary field of studies combining molecular biology and other important natural science disciplines. So everyone with background in one of those, and of course master's degree, can commence a PhD like mine. Of course, in my opinion, one has to have the strive for innovation and not to be afraid to try new ideas, of course, to collaborate with other people, to cooperate, to be open for their knowledge, opinion, and to be interactive. We have an international team of scientists here working shoulder to shoulder, and it's quite motivating, and it's really interesting to identify yourself in the level of science.